All right, folks, we are back here on WLTH 1370 AM. That's 92.7 in the FM dial. It is Friday, March the 21st, the first day of spring, 2025. 7:42 in the PM. That means I got to get out of here in at least the next 18 minutes before Dr. Williams comes in with the 2x4. Comes in, starts regulating. So I'll try to. Okay, so apparently some of y'all have taken my advice and called it. Hello, caller. What's up?
Hey, Scott. What's up with you?
It's all good. Boss lady. What's up?
How are you this evening? How are you?
I'm good.
Okay. I called to applaud you for touching a subject that very few people will go there on.
Oh, thank you so much.
You did a phenomenal job, and it's something that we need to have more discussions about. But the one thing about it is everybody got skeletons in their closet, too, and including the clergy, who were supposed to be the overall protectors.
Right.
And because of that, you know, when we talk about there are a lot of sick people in the world, there really are. And the thing that we need to focus on is how do we cure. Jesus said he came to heal the sick, which means that there's a lot of work to be done, and we're not getting it done. But again, I applaud you. I want to let you know that because I'm serious. You brought a lot of serious thought, and for those who maybe heard you, you know how you say somebody needed to hear that tonight? Someone needed to hear it, and thank you so much for tackling a rough subject.
Well, it's all good. That's why I'm here.
All right.
All right, thank you for calling.
You. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Strange she would bring up the clergy because this next topic I wanted to talk about before I get out of here is something that relates to the clergy. For many years now, much ink has been spilled about how religion, specifically Christianity, was dying in the West, particularly in the United States. Well, it appears that the demise of Christianity in this country has been greatly exaggerated. Because after many years of steady decline, the share of Americans who identify as Christians is showing signs of leveling off at slightly above 6 in 10, which is about 60%. According to a massive new Pew Research poll, the Religious Landscape Study is the largest single survey that the center conducts, aiming to provide authoritative figures on the size of U.S. religious groups because the U.S. Census does not collect that information. The first RLS fielded in 2007 found that 78% of American adults identified as Christian. That number ticked down steadily in each year and was pegged at 71% in the second RLS conducted in 2014. The latest RLS fielded over 7 months in 2023 and 2024 found that 62% of U.S. adults identify as Christian. That is a decline of 9 percentage points since 2014 and a 16-point drop since 2007. But for the last 5 years between 2019 and 24, the Christian share of the adult population has been relatively stable, hovering between 60 and 64%. The 62% in the new Religious Landscape Study is smack in the middle of that range. Now, the largest subgroups of Christian in the United States are the Protestants. The fighting Protestants. Now, 40% of U.S. adults and Catholics are at now 19%. People who identify with all the Christian groups and other Christian groups, including the Greek and Russian Orthodox churches, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Jehovah's Witnesses, and many others, total about 3% of U.S. adults. Both Protestant and Catholic numbers are down since 2007, but the Protestant share of the population has remained fairly level over the last 5 years. And the Catholic share has been stable since 2014, with only small fluctuations. Meanwhile, the share of Americans who identify with a religion other than Christianity has been trending upward, though it is still in single digits. 1.7% of U.S. adults say that they are Jewish when asked about their religion, while 1.2% are Muslims, 1.1% are Buddhist, and 0.9% are Hindu. Man, I could have sworn there was a lot more Muslims than Hindus in this country, and Buddhist. That's I don't know. I think they may be counting the Muslim percentage. Religiously unaffiliated adults, or those who identify as atheists, agnostics, or as nothing in particular, when asked about their religion, account for about 29% of the population in the new RLS. The size of the religiously unaffiliated population, which we sometimes call religious nuns, has plateaued in recent years after a long period of sustained growth. Rates of prayer, attendance of regular church services have also stabilized. Moreover, the survey shows that large majorities of Americans have a spiritual or supernatural outlook on the world. 86% of Americans believe that people have a soul or spirit in addition to their physical body. 83% believe in God or a universal spirit. 79% believe there is something spiritual beyond the natural world, even if we can't see it. And 70% believe in an afterlife, either heaven, hell, or both. But despite these signs of recent stabilization and abiding spirituality, other indicators suggest that we may, not yet, but we may see further declines in the American religious landscape in future years. Namely, younger Americans remain far less religious than older adults. For example, the youngest adults in the survey are less likely than today's oldest adults, ages 74 or over, to identify as Christian. For only 46% of 18 to 24s identify as Christian, versus 80% of people 74 and older. Only 27% pray daily versus 58% of people 74 and older. 25% say they attend religious services at least monthly versus 49% of the 74 and olders. And the youngest adults are more likely than the oldest adults to be religiously unaffiliated, which is 43% versus 13%. Also, younger Americans are less likely than older adults to say that they were raised in religious households. And compared with older adults, fewer young people who were raised in religious households have remained religious after reaching adulthood. So it is sort of a good way of looking at where we are as America, as a society, spiritually. Me personally, myself, I consider myself a Christian, though I'm not affiliated with any one specific church or anything. But I do think that what we're seeing is, in this generation of younger people, is that a lot of them are searching for something. A lot of them feel that they cannot believe in or trust in these institutions. It's funny, Natalie just called and talked about how, a lot of people in the clergy have been, caught abusing kids as well. And I think that really hurt, particularly my generation of millennials and this younger generation, the Zoomers, because if you can't believe in the church, then what can you believe in? And so a lot of these younger people have an outlook that's very jaded, very cynical at a very early age. At 16, 17, 18 years old, they've already given up on the idea of any type of, goodness in the world in a lot of instances. A lot of these young people are not optimistic. And we talk about this a lot on this show, that so many people, particularly young people, are crashing out in devastating ways, often on social media, often for social media. And a lot of that is because things like the church and family have been replaced by the internet, social media, and these type of entities and these institutions. I do think that the pandemic, I think the reason that a lot of this leveled off was during the pandemic, a lot of people had to look at themselves in the mirror, and a lot of people had to slow down who are living lives on the go and essentially say, look, man, who am I? What am I? What do I believe in? And I think the good news is that when people do that, they often find themselves looking for something spiritual, something, you know. So there is a great opportunity right now, you know, for the next movement of spirituality of the church to come in and sort of, you know, break off the shackles of convention and reach out to these young people, especially, you know, use social media, meet these young kids where they are. The devil's on social media. Okay, trust me, I'm on Twitter. I see the devil regularly on social media. He's on Twitter every day. Okay? He's in there with the gossip. He's in there with the you know, the half naked and sometimes out and out naked people. Like you'll just be looking up something completely innocuous and you'll be, you know, inundated with like something you didn't even ask for. And you go, whoa, bro, I didn't ask for this. That's the devil. You know. So wherever there's room for the devil, you know there's room for God. Okay? You're going to have to, and a lot of these kids, I think, are very much ripe for something in their lives. Something to believe in. And I think even though those numbers don't necessarily look good for the next generation, for the younger generations, I actually find a certain amount of optimism in those numbers because I truly believe that these religiously unaffiliated young people are just people who are searching. And it's up to us to figure out exactly what they will find.